Welcome to The Chosen One. I'm your host, Qui-Gon Din, and today on Shatterthoughts, I was asked by Razor Rules 192 about building a decent team. He said he likes the Clone Wars era, and he would like to know what's a viable list. He has the core set, the Obi-Wan box, the Plo Koon box, and the Mace Windu box. And he wants to know what viable team you can kind of build out of that little intro setup. So, where you can start, you got Obi-Wan, if you're looking at Republic, which is, I'm assuming where you really want to play is Republic, you got access to Anakin, Mace, Obi-Wan, Plo Koon as your primaries, and Ahsoka. You got the makings of a start of a really strong list if you want to get out of it. Now, where you're going to have some issues is if you're trying to build a full premier list with the stuff you have. There's a couple purchases you should make if you want to make this a premier list, but with what you have, Mace Obi is the definite go-to there. And it's specifically because Obi-Wan as a primary is really good right now. The 212th are very solid. You got access to a lot of good units. You're gonna be probably running the 212th until you get some commandos down the line. But if you don't want to pick up commandos, 212th are perfectly fine. But you're gonna be running as probably your Obi-Wan list: Obi-Wan, Captain Rex, 212th. Out of your entire collection, that's gonna probably be your most solid individual squad that you can tech in with a bunch of different pairings. Next comes the Mace addition to this. So with Mace, you have access to the ARFs. ARFs are a very decent unit, but you also have the 501st. And this is where I really like the 501st from your core set. What you can do here is that you take Mace, and with your Plo box, you throw the Ahsoka secondary that came in that Plo box under Mace. When I'm playing Mace Obi, I like having my secondaries. The ability to move Mace into engagement is important. So with Obi, Rex, 212th, Mace, Ahsoka, 501st, and there's a reason why I'm going 501st here. The coordinate fire strain is really good, and the 501st allow Mace to hit some interesting breakpoints. So I would say with your collection with what you have now, it is definitely, if you want to build a really strong strike team, it's Obi-Wan, Rex, 212th, Mace, Ahsoka Tano Padawan, 501st. And this is a very standard Mace Obi list that you could start kind of min-maxing down the line if you start adding stuff to your collection. Most people drop to the 212th for Republic Clone Commandos with Obi-Wan. They do a lot of work with Obi-Wan, but 212th are perfectly fine. Now, if you want to turn this into a premiere, I think you need to buy 1 or 2 boxes. And honestly, right out the get-go, one of the boxes you should purchase is the Ki-Adi-Mundi box. The Ki-Adi-Mundi box is going to give you 2 characters that are going to allow you to build a second half of your premiere list. Shakti and Ki-Adi-Mundi are very important to this list because of how good they are. And you can pair this off with Anakin Skywalker. And that is kind of a route you can go. Yeah, you still kind of need to buy 1 more box because you'd have to change up your lineup a little bit, as you really want to put snips with Anakin. And if the second box you buy is the Luminara box, not only do you get Luminara, who's good with Separatists down the line for the rest of your core set, you get Barriss Offee, who's a good displacement piece herself, but the Clone Commandos are big for really allowing you to flesh out your Premier list with minimal purchase. The Luminara box on Amazon is usually like $30. It's pretty cheap. A lot of places have it pretty discounted because it's an older box. But if you wanted to go full Premier, and you pick up the Mundi box, you pick up the Luminara box, you can change that Obi Mace list a little bit to where it is Obi with Rex and Commandos, and then you can put Mace with Pawns and 2/12. This frees up your 501st, which allows you to put them with an Anakin Snips 501st, Anakin Snips ARFs, because you want the ARFs with Anakin for support fire dash, and then Mundi Shock T with 501st, because the 501st hits some really good breakpoints damage-wise, and you want to be getting wounds with the Mundi list for Mundi's identity. That's just kind of the way I'm looking at it if you want to go kind of on a budget and go for the full Premier list. But with what you have now, Obi Mace is pretty solid. Having Ahsoka and Rex on the field allow your supports to do interesting stuff that your supports, when they attack, if they're within range of Rex or Snips within range 3, they can do their little movement and get that 5-die attack off. That is very powerful. It allows your supports to move extra bodies, and in this current game state, supports moving additional bodies is kind of really powerful. We're seeing that power being displayed with Riff Tamsin, and it is very, very potent. So it's a very good list. That's just kind of my thoughts with the stuff that you have. Mace Obi is probably your best starting point, and then I would probably build up to Anakin down the line, just because the stuff you have is going to on a budget. If you really wanted to stay on the budget, Anakin is not going to require too many purchases for you to have a good Premier list. Because the cool thing about that Premier list of the, Anakin, Snips, ARFs, Mundi, Shock T, 501st, Obi-Wan, Rex, Commandos, and Mace, Pawns 2/12, is that list can flex with multiple pairings. You can drop Obi-Wan with Mundi on the table, and that list is extremely defensive while giving you displacement. Mace Obi gives you a lot of defense tech with some extra movement tech to get your clones into position. Really good at maintaining points. And then you got Anakin Mundi, which is a really strong mid-range list that, if you can learn the combos to, has some of the most explosive turns in Shatterpoint. An Anakin wounding a secondary or primary can allow you to basically reshift your entire board around, and that gets really powerful. But that's definitely like the harder list to pilot, I believe. But yeah, you just get a lot of utility in that setup, and it's on a budget.